Hello, my name is Caren Whitehurst. I live in Arizona and I practice massage therapy and physiotherapy in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've been practicing for over 30 years, and along the way I've noticed that my hands had started building arthritis and having some numbness and pain in the night to where I had to wake up. They would wake me up. Sometimes my clients would laugh and say, "Do you ever get to do anything with your hands besides work?" And I'd say, sometimes if they don't wake me up, I get to eat ice cream with them. So anyway, it's been a joke for years, but it got to where it was getting me, affecting me at home, where I couldn't open water bottles, I couldn't open pickle jars, or I couldn't practice yoga as intensely or as regularly as I'd like. So when I heard about stem cells, actually it was with a woman in her 80s who had considered stem cells in one of her knees as opposed to a surgery that her doctors had been trying for years to talk her into. So I watched her progress. She had injections in February of this year, and so she started coming to class again in about 6 weeks. So I was asking her about it, and then because in my profession I often get invitations to come to new practices, I got an invitation to come and hear about just the talk about stem cell research and the benefits. So I checked into it and decided to give it a try. And I'm happy to say that even though I was nervous about it going into it, the doctors and the whole staff were very positive about nothing had to be done unless I was comfortable with it. So that was great. And the first injection set free a joint in my thumb that I had been suffering with for about 2 years. And I work with chiropractors, and they had opened my hands and opened my joints because of the work that I do with them. But it was getting so painful that I wouldn't let them adjust it anymore because it just felt like it was harmful. So I had, for about 2 years, I had a locked joint. And as I quit doing yoga and I stopped doing things that I felt were harmful or just scaring me, that first injection that I got opened that joint. I could just feel it going in there and separating that, and that was my immediate aha that I had done the right thing. And by the time I left that day, I had probably 80% less pain and more freedom in my hand than I'd had for a couple of years, which was great because I was able to start just doing some of the things slowly but surely, reintroducing things into my life that I had missed doing. So here I am a month later. Is it a month later? We decide 2 months later. I'm still, at least I would say 80%, but I'm also doing yoga again, which I have to be mindful of how I use it, how much pressure I put on it. I'm letting my husband open all the jars and bottles because he's happy to do that. But when I have to do it, I can do it. And I use the gadgets, the rubber things and all that they give us seniors to help us out. But I'm just so elated that I have less pain. My hands don't wake me up at night. They let me sleep. They don't go to sleep and wake me up, which used to be a kind of another joke. But I sleep through the night without pain, and it's just improved things so much since I've had the injections. And they were, I would say, less than painful. I would say it was pressure that I was experiencing during the injections. It was more pressure. But being a therapist, I know the difference between therapeutic pain and injurious pain. So I really just told myself that this is a therapeutic pain, and if I just breathe and relax and trust, it'll go well. And it did, and I have no regrets. All of the people, all of the staff, everybody around has been so positive and wonderful, and the follow-up calls came regularly, and they were happy to hear my questions or my concerns. I'm a pretty hands-on girl and outside of my work. So pulling weeds at home and using shovels and things, I'm back at being who I really used to be, and doing a lot of things that I've, weather permitting, of course, a lot of things that I stopped doing or limited myself in doing. So I really appreciate the Institute and the whole staff and all the education and ongoing counsel and advice that they give me. After 2 months, I'm just as happy as I was the day I left, even more so because I have been able to practice yoga again, and just pretty much feel that I've got back a new lease on life for the next decade or however long it lasts.